you're a business owner and you're doing marketing or you're thinking about hiring a marketing company, here's the number one question you can ask, because this is the question I was asking when I went to work at this home service business was, how are you going to track your performance? And you want to see what they say and you want to make sure it aligns with your goals.
Welcome to the Expert in You podcast, the show for professional entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants who are ready to elevate their business, expand their influence, and boost their bank accounts. Join us as we dive deep with industry-leading experts who share their top strategies, invaluable insights, practical tips, and personal experiences to help you achieve extraordinary growth and success. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, stay ahead of the curve, or find that competitive edge, this podcast is your ultimate resource for unlocking your full potential. So tune in, get inspired, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the expert in you. Hey everyone, I want to welcome you back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and I have a really cool guy with me today, Phil Risher. He is the #1 digital marketing consulting company for $1 million to $10 million home service businesses. Phil, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Ann, thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited to talk with you today.
Yes, I'm so excited too. So I know you have a great story. You have achieved so much great success in your business already. And I would just love for you to kind of dive into a little bit of your backstory and then what brought you into, first tell everybody exactly what you do. I did read a little bit of that, but give them the bite-sized chunk of what you do.
Yeah, so home service businesses like HVAC, plumbing, electrical, a lot of times as they grow their business, a lot of times they start as the technician and then they start to build a business and they turn into like the head salesperson and the head marketing person for their company. Where my business steps in is to go from $1 million to $10 million, you need an outsourced marketing team, almost like a fractional CMO for your business that knows your CRM. So they know how you actually run your day-to-day. They know the marketing stuff, like how to do ads, SEO, email marketing, sales conversions, and they know the data inside of your CRM, and they make it all work together.
I love that.
What my company does is we partner with these companies to help bridge the gap on digital marketing and home service businesses.
And also it's really hard to know who to hire. And one thing that I see is a lot of companies or businesses as they're growing, they're piecemealing their marketing together. Maybe they're using somebody for this and somebody for this and nothing is cohesive. It doesn't work together. And so I like that you're kind of a one-stop shop and really you bring in the marketing team, right?
Definitely. I would say usually to get to $1 million, people are paying for cookie cutter kind of one-off marketing things, which is not bad because, you get to 1 million as being a hustler. But once you get to 1 million, the hustler has to die and the leader has to be born. And the way that you actually build that is by hiring professionals and experts that can then go in and execute. That's very niche focused.
Yes. So how did you get into this? And then I want to dive more into some of those things.
Sure. Yeah.
Brought you into this space.
Yeah, coming out of college, I actually worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car in their management trainee program. So I was an intern and then I went in and was a management trainee and then I became a branch manager. So I learned how to run a local service business through Enterprise. I was running a $2 million local service business. I had 20 team members and I was a branch manager getting paid directly off the bottom line. Mm-hmm. So every month I'd analyze the profit and loss statement, figure out what was broken and fix it. And I was one of the top branch managers in the DC metro area where I live. Then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he says,
That was a game-changing book for me too. That changed my life. Yes.
Yes. I read it a lot now, every year almost. But I read it. He said the #1 skill that you can learn is how to sell. And at this point, I learned how to be a leader and how to build a business, through actually management. But I didn't have any direct skill set for sales. So I went into corporate enterprise and I sold fleet management services to home service businesses. Mm-hmm. So these big HVAC contractors have a fleet of vehicles and Enterprise helps these companies manage those fleet of vehicles. So it is my job to call on these home service business owners, set meetings, and then pitch Enterprise. So I started to get into the home service space like that and I learned how to do sales. Well, at the same time, so I started a blog and it was about personal finance and I learned how to build a WordPress website. I did 3 blog posts a week. This was before ChatGPT. So I'm writing all the blog content. I did email marketing, social media marketing, and I built it up to about 40,000 readers per month was reading that stuff.
Nice.
And I ended up getting featured in Forbes and CNBC and Yahoo Finance and all this cool stuff just for my blog. So when I would go to meet with these home service business owners, I'd ask them, what are you doing for marketing? And they would say, oh, I don't really know, Then we kind of talk about what I was doing for my blog. And I got to the point where I didn't like my corporate job anymore. I was like, I don't have any debt. I'm doing this cool thing with my blog. I wasn't making a bunch of money, but I decided to quit my job at Enterprise, and I bought a tiny school bus and I made it a tiny home, and I traveled around the country.
You never told me that before we began here for the podcast. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Crazy. I love it.
Yes. So then I basically like traveled around the country creating content, videos and blog posts. I did a bunch of news interviews as I would go into different cities, and basically just like learning how to do digital marketing and just like fun stuff. When I came back from all that, one of my clients from selling fleet management was a $3 million home service business. And he loved me and he loved my story and he loved what I was doing. And he said, hey, we need to work together. So maybe you could be the director of business development to help me grow my business. I've been stuck here for about 3 years at $3 million and I want to grow. So I went to work there for him. And in the first year, he went from 3 million to 4 million. And then he went from 4 million to 5 million and then sold to private equity. And he says this, not me, that I was the catalyst for all of his growth. And after 10 months of working together full time, he actually fired me. And we can talk about that. He fired me because of the friction that we had in growth and the goals. And he named my company Flash Consulting. And he got me 2 other clients and he became my first client. So that's how I started.
Oh, that's awesome. What a great story. So you travel all over. I love that. No, you did not tell me that part. Super cool. So the one thing I want to dive back into, the fact that you go in, you bring in a team that can do all the things for them so that they have really a cohesive system. One of the mistakes I see, Phil, is people, especially small businesses, which if you're talking about $1 million, that's still relatively small, right? One of the mistakes I see that they make is they don't understand marketing. So they'll hire some kid or they'll hire somebody that went and got a marketing degree that's never really done any application or they've never run marketing in any way, shape, or form. They just have the degree. And I see that they end up paying a lot of money to somebody who doesn't get the results. Do you see that? And is that why sometimes they shift to you?
Yeah. If you're a business owner and you're doing marketing or you're thinking about hiring a marketing company, here's the number one question you can ask, because this is the question I was asking when I went to work at this home service business was, how are you going to track your performance? And you want to see what they say and you want to make sure it aligns with your goals. So I went to work at this $3 million home service business. I wasn't responsible for marketing. I was responsible for revenue growth. So I analyzed everything from who's running our routes to the 4 call center people, to our 28 technicians, to our upsells, to our average ticket, to our marketing and lead gen. And when I would meet with these marketing companies, which you hit it nail on the head, whether it's someone who just got from a degree or a young person or some big company, the biggest missing piece for us was that you're doing all this digital marketing stuff out here, but you don't know if it's actually working. Right. And you can't tie it together. That's why I tell people, ask the question of how are you going to track your performance? Okay, you want to spend $2,000 on Google ads. Cool, that's fine. But how are you going to make sure that it actually generates revenue for my business? And if they can't answer that, that's a problem. Or I'm going to pay money for SEO, whatever that is, black magic and voodoo. How are you going to track your performance for SEO that it's actually working? And these are the questions that I started asking. And what I realized was a lot of times digital marketing companies just stop at doing the stuff without actually tracking your performance. So you're not actually growing the business. You're just wasting money. Or maybe you're growing, but you don't know what's working and it's just a gut feeling.
Yeah.
And these are all things that I faced that I'm solving with my company.
Yeah. No, I love that we're talking about this because this is reality. I'm sorry, are you marketers out there? I help people market, right? Exactly. But I also help them grow revenue and all the other things. So I'm very much like you. We have to track what is working, what's not working. And here's the other thing too. A lot of people do brand building, but they have no real lead generation. And then even if they have lead generation, is it turning into sales and revenue on the back end? And it takes all 3 of those things. And that's what a lot of people don't know. Like all 3 of those are really different systems that have to work together to get the best results out. But I love that, giving them that great question and opening their mind to that. First of all, tell us about your books back there. You have, are they yours, or what do you have?
None of these books are mine, but these are all ones that have played an integral part in me as a business owner and personally. So this one is EntreLeadership from Dave Ramsey. I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy, paying off, debt. I'm in his coaching program called EntreLeadership. This one is called Building a Story Brand from Donald Miller. If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. Basically, it's about you want to be you're not the hero, their customer's the hero that has a problem, and you need to position yourself as the guide. A lot of times in the home service space or business owners, we think we're the hero that's going to come in and save the day, when that's not the case. Your customer's the hero, and we need to position ourselves that way. This is my cool bobblehead. It's actually me.
It's actually you. So story behind that.
Yes. So 4 months, we do these appreciation gifts.
By the way, if you're listening to the audio, you're not going to be able to see this. You're going to have to go to YouTube to check it out in video, but go ahead.
So every 4 months, we do a client appreciation gift. And the first one, after 4 months, we get them a custom bobblehead with their logo on it for their desk. And it's a great reminder. So someone comes into their office and they see the bobblehead, they say, "Who made you that?" And it's like, "Oh, our marketing company." And it's a great way for referrals, but it's also a cool gag gift to give people to your Jobber. This company, I didn't mention this. This is, I'm a brand ambassador for them, and it's a CRM for home service businesses that we work a lot with. Like, I was out in Las Vegas for their podcast several times. I just did a big webinar with them. This book is called Home Service Millionaire, a great book for business owners that are trying to grow their business for home service business. And then this one is from Marcus Sheridan. He's been on my podcast a couple times, called They Ask You Answer. This is the framework for anyone that's creating content. You should use this framework of They Ask You Answer. And it's a really great book.
So good. I didn't know if any of those were yours or not. No. Are you working on a book?
I had thought about writing a book. It's hard because, and maybe you have some perspective on this, I have like kind of a winding story personally, but also I have a lot to say from a business perspective. And how do I silo that and then write a book that lands with my current goal, which is getting clients for my business, and not, not diluting, my story or whatever. And how does that all work? So
yeah, super cool. So there are a few things that you've done really well here that I want to highlight, because this is what I teach people. Is number one, you've niched. You have a very clear audience, and you have a very clear results of what you help them do. And then here's how you do that. That's something that a lot of people are missing. They're still out there. Everything's customized. They're doing so many different things. They're targeting so many different clients. I see this a lot in coaching and consulting space, and even agencies do the same thing. Oh, everyone's my client. Well, no, it's very difficult to grow and scale if everyone is your client. You've got to really streamline.
Yeah, I have a quick story about that. Yesterday, our sales guy, he had a meeting with a prospect that we met with a year ago, and he was 600,000. And we're like, "Hey, you're too small at this point. You need to get to $1 million, because you have to get the infrastructure in place and the marketing budget in place to be able to scale, which should be 3 to 10% of your revenue." Then yesterday, he set up another meeting to come back into the funnel, and now he hit $1 million this year. And he's like, "Cool, I'm ready to go and work with you guys." So within like a day, then he just turned into a customer. But it's a part of like knowing who you can help and then who you can't help, and making the right fit for them.
Absolutely. How much do you find mindset comes into the people that you actually bring on as a client? I know for me, that's a big piece of it. They have to understand investing in their success. They have to understand there's going to be a return on their investment, but they are going to have to make that investment. How much does that come into play for you as well?
Yeah, this is something that I grappled with, but I think we have a pretty good positioning of how we position ourselves in the market. Is that most home service businesses are spending 3 to 10% of their revenue on marketing. So if they're at $1 million, they should spend $30,000 to $100,000. So for me to position my business at, let's say, $40,000 or $50,000, it fits nicely into the bucket that they should be spending on marketing already. So it's not like, "Oh my gosh, this is a big expense." It's the money that you should already be spending in order to grow your business. You just have to figure out how you're going to deploy it in the most effective way. That's usually what the conversations, it's not like, how do you get over that hurdle of investing? From a mindset perspective, one of the things that we run into a lot is that hustler and leader mentality that I mentioned before, is that to get to $1 million, you have to be the hustler. And usually like 1 million to 3 million, you're still holding on to some of the hustler tendencies of like being the number one salesperson in your business, being the marketing director and hands in everything, being the go-to technician in your business to fix all the problems. And what we find is that it handicaps a lot of people, because you hire a great marketing company like us, we double the number of leads, the number of estimates that you're generating, but you can't close anymore because you're bottlenecked based off of you being the hustler all the time. And that's a really big gap. We have one client, he was working with us. He was doing $84,000. So right at $1 million a year. This was a year ago. He had the leadership mentality. He was just looking for a great marketing company. So he hired a good CSR. He hired a customer service representative. He hired a salesperson, and he tripled his revenue in the first year because he got out of the way and built the infrastructure to support the outcome that he wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement. What would be one or two tips that you would give people that can help them, that you think have been the most significant things that you've been able to do with people for fast revenue growth, for high revenue growth? What would those things be?
The number one thing, and if you're listening to this, you should do this, and you're probably not doing that as effectively as you should be. And this is exactly what we do for people when we first start out, because every single marketing company is going to say, give us 6 months to get results. Okay, that's one part of it. But the quickest way to get return on your investment or to do anything with marketing and get leads coming in the door is to do email marketing to your past prospects, customers, anyone that's ever talked to you before. If you have
you do quick wins. You do quick wins with them.
Yeah. Quick wins, yeah. So like the example that I just gave you about the guy who I talked to a year ago who wasn't the right fit, he's been getting our email sequence every single week. And he said literally on the call yesterday, I see your emails every single week about automation and that we need to scale up and we need to get professional. And I know that we need to hire you guys because of those things.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner that's listening to this, you should send out an email every single month, start monthly if you can. And in those emails, what we do is we set up a content calendar. So every single month we have a theme that we're going to talk about. So like, Anne, in your business, you know, in January, everyone's talking about this thing. In June, most people are going to be thinking about this thing. So then that's the theme for your social media content, your blog content, and your email newsletter. Then what we do as a business is we actually curate the content. So we take the best social media post, the best customer review that you got that month, and we just put it into a newsletter and send it out. We had a company that we sent out 12 emails for them. They had 6,000 people in their database, so they had a pretty decent sized database. But in the first year, they generated $253,000 just from sending out one email every single month. That's the thing. Send out an email to your people and your prospects and your customers.
So good. Yeah. Very similar. When I work with people, I want to help them get quick wins. So they are super excited to keep working together.
Exactly.
Feel like this was the best investment I've ever made, right? And that's exactly, I love too, Phil, one of the things that really impressed me about you, first of all, you're very humble in the success that you've had, and you're very personable, and I don't see any ego there. It's like you genuinely care about the people that you take on as clients. And I have to say that's so rare. It is so rare, and it's just gold. It aligns so well with what I do with my clients and the way I feel. And that's why I really wanted you on the show.
Yeah. Thank you. And I can speak to that because people, tell me that. And to be honest with you, I can pinpoint exactly why that is for me, and I can just share. So I come from a place of abundance, specifically from a place of like, personally, I'm grateful. I have no debt, right? Like I told you, I'm Dave Ramsey guy. Like I don't have any debt, whatever. So like, I'm not out here trying to scrounge around and get someone to pay me money, right? Like, of course, we're all in business to make money and grow our businesses and stuff, but it's not like I'm trying to take their money. I'm trying to help them solve a problem. And if I can, I can. But I can I can come from a place of like, it's okay if we don't work together. I'm not just here to take your money. I want to help you solve your problem. And if I can, I'm going to help you. And for me, I have the peace knowing at night, I'm going to sleep fine tonight. It's not like I don't know where my next meal is coming from because I have a solid financial foundation for my business and personally.
Yeah, so good. I love that. What would you like people to know that maybe we haven't talked about? I want to make sure we get into the show exactly what you want to come out of it.
Yeah. So when I started at the home service business, and this is any business and even yours included, there's 3 main parts to a good marketing system. There's visibility. So you have to have people know about you. There's conversions. So you have to have a lead channel and then a conversion funnel so people turn into a sale. And then you have to have retargeting, which is bringing all your past prospects and customers back into the funnel like we just talked about. A lot of people don't think about conversions because they're like, I just need leads. Like I don't have a lead management problem.
Like, who cares, right? If it doesn't convert.
Yeah. For us, once you get to $1 million, you usually have a lead management problem because you have leads coming from all over the place. But let's just talk about the visibility side of how do you get leads coming in the door for your business. I would say the number one way, because most of your audience is going to be like subject matter experts or that kind of people, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So the number one thing, there's a book called Marketing to the Affluent from Dan Kennedy. And in that book, he says that as you charge more money for what you do, people work with you because of who you are, not what you do. And when I read this about 2 years ago, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I have to give people the story of Phil Risher and Flash Consulting that they can validate why we charge X amount of dollars, not trying to like the other way around. So this is why like our whole business is like, okay, I got to get reviews. I got to get 100 Google reviews so I can say we have 100 5-star reviews. I need to get on these podcasts. I need to get featured in these things. I need to have people on my podcast that are experts so that way I can position our company as the subject matter expert. So I think a lot of people, especially subject matter expert people that are trying to build a business, they haven't built out their authority.
Right.
Yeah. So it's hard to attract people in because you're too busy trying to tell people on sales calls like how great you are and stuff instead of like, attracting them in based off of, you know, who you are. So like to give you an example, we get probably like 20 to 30 leads a week and it's all from content, podcasts, YouTube videos, shorts, reels, other content, which we could talk about content strategies on that. But I guess I would just want to encourage someone that if you don't have enough leads, literally just go on LinkedIn and post 2 or 3 times a day and don't try to sell, just try to help people solve their problems. And I guarantee you'll start to see some traction from that.
Yeah. I love LinkedIn. It's my favorite platform. So so good. That is gold for people to understand and for people to know. And here's the other thing. One of the things that I really like about what you're doing too is you are building your brand. You are building your authority. It's what I teach my clients to do. I can't help them get multi-6-figure clients if they're not the authority or the expert in their space, right? So all of that has to come behind it. And one of the things I love is that you're walking your talk. You're doing it. And so often I see, it's kind of like when I look at a web designer and I go, you're a web designer? Like, no thanks. Or I'll give you an example. I saw somebody on LinkedIn one day that was claiming to be a LinkedIn expert. And I looked at her profile and I'm like, I do not even understand like how you can even say that. So you have to walk the talk, right? They have to see it from you as well. So I love that you're doing that. And quite honestly, being in the kind of like the home service space, you're kind of different because a lot of times, they don't do a lot of that. They're not getting out there to get visible as the CEO of their company or as the owner. They're still kind of playing it in technician, right? They're still, and like you said, that they become the bottleneck. But do you help them kind of build the brand side of their business too, like with them, build the authority, or is that not something that you guys do?
Yeah, so the first 4-ish years of the business, we've been doing this for 6 years now. The first 4 years, it was very heavy on performance marketing and lead gen, which brand building can be that, but it's hard to quantify.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm a big Neil Patel, you know, numbers, get traffic to the website, convert it into leads, convert it through your funnel. And then Gary Vaynerchuk, he's all about like branding, you know, create content and like build a brand. And I was always like, that's kind of foo-foo. But my mind has shifted a lot on that for 2 reasons, specifically for home service businesses. And I'll answer your question if we do that and how we do it, but it's kind of how our business has shifted and my mindset has shifted. The first thing is with AI search. So AI search, it's changing. People are not just going to Google anymore, right? They're asking ChatGPT or Google AI, a good plumber, or whatever other expert that they're looking for. And if you were to go to ChatGPT and ask it about your service and ask it for the expert, it's going to give you a list. And if you're not on that list, ask it, why did it not show you? Or how did you come up with this list of results? What was the criteria that you did? Then do what it tells you to do. It will coach you on how to get up there. And what we found by doing this search for home service businesses is that you can do all the traditional SEO stuff, which still plays into AI search. But the number one thing is being an authority in your space. And so as a business owner, when you create content these AI platforms, they're built on LLMs, which is called large language models. So basically, they're taking all the content on the internet and then training themselves. So if you create content as the expert, you're coaching these large language models that you are the expert, so it's going to show you in their results. This is how my mindset has been shifting on this. It's not just like post content so people see it and they like you, which is
right. It's not hope marketing. We're not talking about hope marketing here.
yeah, exactly. So the other side to this is, yes, you create content, people see you, they resonate with you. One of the biggest shifts for me was I created content and then I was posted on LinkedIn, hey, I'm looking for a good salesperson. And we had 3 people reach out to us that worked at other digital marketing agencies that were like, I've been following you for 2 years. I would love the opportunity to work with you because you guys do the right stuff.
Yeah.
So it shifted my mind. So to answer your question, do we do this? Yes. And here's how we do it. For our customers, a lot of their interactions with customers are recorded on phone calls that are through tracking phone numbers. So someone calls from a Google ad, it's on a tracking number and it's recorded. For you who's listening, you might use Zoom and you might record your Zoom calls, or you might use Fathom to record. All of these interactions are going to be recorded. What you do is you take those transcripts from the recordings and you put them to ChatGPT and you ask it for the hooks for video content. And now you have real questions that your customers are asking, and then you create content off of real stuff, not whatever ChatGPT comes up with today. We do this for our clients. Then we get on a call like this and we coach them through the content. So we say, hey, Ann, here's the hook. Okay, now we're going to solve their problem. Don't sell, just solve it. Then at the end, we're going to agitate the problem a little bit and we're going to give them a call to action. And then we go and we cut it down into actual content. Now we have content for the email newsletters. We can take the transcript from that content and turn it into blog posts. And we have this flywheel of content from real questions from your customers into content, then performance marketing to actually drive traffic to your website. So that's what we do.
Super cool. Wow, this was gold. Gold, Phil. You gave the goods. You gave advice. Thank you so much for being here. How can people get a hold of you if home services?
Yeah, if your home service business 1 to 10 million, you can go to Flash Consulting. It's PHLASH consulting.com. You can set up a meeting there to discuss your business. If you're just like, hey, Phil, you seem like a cool dude and you want to connect, I'm on LinkedIn, Phil Risher, or Instagram, Phil Risher. Happy to be a resource. We also have an awesome YouTube channel with content as well, Flash Consulting on our YouTube.
We'll put all of that in the show notes so you'll be able to get a hold of him. Phil, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Just so awesome. Love what you're doing. I love your heart. I love your soul. And yeah, you're the real deal. So I just want to say, if you need some help in your home services, I would highly, highly recommend Phil. You can tell he knows this stuff and he is the real deal. So thank you again for being my guest.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Ann.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching tuning in to another episode of Expert in You podcast. Make sure you share the show so other people can hear amazing experts just like Phil. And we have just passed the 300 mark on our episodes, and we're super excited about that. But more than anything, I'm so grateful for what this show has been able to do out there in the marketplace and all the people that listen and all of my guests. So I just want to thank you. We want to get this to the top 1% in the market. So help us out and share this. And to make sure you subscribe. So until next time, God bless you all and good luck with business. The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Although I share strategies, ideas, and success stories based on real experiences, results are never guaranteed. Every business is unique, and outcomes depend on individual effort, market conditions, and many other factors. By listening, you agree that I and my guests are not responsible for your results or actions based on the content shared. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're as excited as I am about scaling up your influence, business, and bank account, then I have just the thing for you. But first, make sure you subscribe to the show. Second, make sure you share it with someone you care about, because sharing is caring. And third, head on over to join me in my next free virtual exclusive workshop, where we'll explore proven strategies to boost your business and maximize your potential. Look, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're looking to take your business to the next level, my workshops are designed for you. So head on over to expertinyouworkshop.com to reserve your spot and get ready to transform your expertise into extraordinary success. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and helping you achieve incredible growth. Until next time, make sure you're always seeking the expert in you, and God bless. Have an amazing day.